It's racist?
I don't think it's racist. I think it's colorist.
How?
You prefer light-skinned women. And you're a black man. And
Dark
black people
black
come
man.
in
I'm not really black.
What are you?
I'm Honduran.
You mixing race and
Baby,
and ethnicity.
look, now you gonna turn this episode upside
for
down.
real.
But black is your race. Black is your race. You can be
No.
Honduran, but you're still black. You can be Honduran because
You can
Honduras
be
is the place.
Hispanic and black.
That's your ethnicity.
I'm Hispanic, 100%.
Okay, well that's the. You speak Spanish? 'Cause
Yes, that's my first language.
Go ahead. I love that for you. That
Their
means you're
ancestors are
Afro-Latino.
black.
That means you're Afro-Latino, and you are a black man. Okay, that is your race.
All
So
ethnicities.
don't say
really
that
though,
you're not
friend.
black.
All
Yes, it is.
ethnicities come from black,
I'm
baby.
Hispanic.
No,
I'm
you can be a black person and Hispanic at the same time, and you are a black Hispanic
All the
person.
ancestors go back to
How
black. So
no.
sorry to tell you.
Sir,
Look,
look
all
at
this
your hair, look at your
slavery,
face,
all
look at
this
your
slavery
skin,
shit,
look at your
y'all.
nose. You are a
Fact. I'm a nigga for shit shows.
Yes, you're
I'm
black.
a fight Mexicans when I
So
get
you're
into
black.
it. I'm a nigga.
So you're black.
But
So you're black.
I don't come from the same thing y'all come from. Like,
Who
That
is
don't matter.
y'all?
You don't
Like
know where
you.
y'all
Where I
come
come from? Where I come from?
Who is
Where I come
y'all?
from?
Can we have a
Where I
shot?
come from? Yes, let's take a
yes,
shot.
take a shot.
Answer that question right now. Where I come from?
I'm sorry, but on behalf of the dark-skinned women delegation, we would like to send a formal thank you to the light-skinned women delegation for taking this man out of our dating pool. Y'all really did take one for the team. That was some true sisterhood. Y'all looked out. Thank you very much. Because why his forehead look like that? Like, why do he look like Phineas from Phineas and Ferb? I'm confused. This man looks like an aardvark. Quite literally, dark-skinned women are not checking for him. Let's make that clear. But then I want to talk about the diaspora, because you know the diaspora likes to complain that only black Americans are colorist, yet here we have a Honduran man who is colorist. Like, The first thing I want to discuss, like I stated, is the fact that this is a Honduran man. This is not an African American, Black American, ADOS, FBA, whatever. Y'all know who I'm talking about. This is not one of our men. But the diaspora will get on the internet all the time and lie. Just lie. They will lie and say that colorism is not a thing in their countries and that it's solely something Black American, yada, 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 right? And it's just so confusing to me because these people be coming from countries where they literally bleach their skin. They bleach their skin. Then they will turn around and get on the internet and say, oh, but our communities are not colorist. Only Black American communities are. Like, what? The next thing I want to speak about is the fact that y'all are willfully obtuse. Y'all don't even be this dumb for real. Y'all be acting dumb. And let me explain what I mean by that, right? So this man, he sat here and said, oh, I'm not black. And he meant that as saying, I'm not Black American. You could tell that he was using black to mean Black American, African American, FBA, ADOS, whatever. Y'all know who I'm talking about, bro. Like, y'all finna get on my nerves. I can already tell. But he said, I'm not black. And he made some comment like, oh, we don't have the same history, slavery, something. He mentioned slavery. I don't know if he was trying to say, oh, I was not enslaved like Black Americans, or if he's commenting on a similar history in that sense. I really don't know what he was trying to say with that comment, because a lot of Afro-Latinas, Caribbeans and stuff, they are slow. They will say something dumb like, oh, Black Americans were slaves, because they know nothing about themselves. They know nothing about their history. And that is evidenced by this man. Now, it's going to take me a second to explain what I mean about being willfully obtuse. So I don't want y'all to think that I got sidetracked, lost my train of thought, nothing like that, right? So this man, he said, oh, I'm not black, I'm Honduran, I'm Hispanic, whatever, right? He was using black as an ethnicity. He was using it to be interchangeable with African American, right? And until relatively recently, that was pretty much the case. And let me go into the details of that. And if I can remember any of the videos I made about this, I'll put them up here, right? But until recently, African Americans were the only group of black people who identified as black. And that's because we come from a country where blackness is the minority. So blackness is our biggest identifier. And that's not the case with most Africans, Caribbeans, Afro-Latinas, etc. I've used this example before, and I'm going to use it again. I'm from planet Earth, where everybody has white teeth, or at least should. Okay, no shade if you don't. But because of that, I do not identify as a white teether, because that's just the norm. You know, like, everybody has that. So why would I be walking around like, yeah, I'm a white teether? Okay. Now let's pretend I moved to another planet. I moved to Mars, where everybody has blue teeth. And people with white teeth are a minority. Suddenly, I start to stick out and people are like, your teeth are white? Like, what's up with that? You know what I'm saying? Now, on Mars, I will more than likely begin to identify with the fact that I have white teeth because it's something that makes me a minority and other people may even discriminate against me because of it. This is the same concept that race follows. When you live in a society that is pretty much homogenous when it comes to race, you don't think about it. It's the default. That's just what everyone is, right? Instead, you find other things to base your differences off of. So when you go somewhere in Africa, they're not talking about, oh, we're black. No, instead, they base their differences off of tribe, for example. So you may hear there's a conflict between this tribe and that tribe, even though they're all black. Same thing with Europe. When you go to Europe, they not like, oh, we're all white. They can't stand each other in Europe, y'all. It's because, again, race doesn't really matter when you're around people of all the same race, which is not the case in the United States. In the United States, African Americans, Black Americans, ADOS, FBA, whatever, we simply did not have the luxury of sitting around talking about, I'm not black, I don't identify as black, because white people were literally burning crosses on our lawns and lynching us because we are black. They were literally trying to exterminate us. They were committing genocides against us. We did not have that luxury. So in the United States, we had to come together based on blackness. We realized, we're being hunted out here because we are black. We had to stick together. That is why you will see things in the United States like Black History Month and HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. Whereas when you go to these other places, you don't see stuff like this because, again, they're all black. So it doesn't matter to them if somebody is black or not. They don't identify with that. Now, let's get back to this concept of being willfully obtuse. If this man had simply sat here and said, oh, I'm not black, I'm Honduran, I'd have been like, okay, clearly he's still identifying, based off of his Hispanic identity and not his racial one, whatever, cool, right? But then he went on to say, oh yeah, I'm a nigga, I fight Mexicans, whatever. If you're not black, you can't say the N-word. So it's like, pick a side and stay there, right? But this is the thing. These people will say, oh, I'm not black, I'm whatever, when it's something convenient. Then they will turn right around and say, oh, why Black History Month only about African American? Why HBCUs that only for African American? I mean, historically black. You see what I mean about being willfully obtuse now, right? So when you deem setting yourself apart from blackness as most beneficial, then you say, oh, I'm not black, I'm Honduran, right? But I promise you, if he lives in the United States, because he got an American accent, right? He's going to be applying to black scholarships. He's going to be talking about, oh, HBCUs are for all black people. Those aren't African American. He's going to be talking about, oh, Black History Month isn't just about African Americans. When it comes to taking resources that are African American specifically, then suddenly you don't understand that black and African American can sometimes be used interchangeably. But any other time, you get that. Isn't that very odd?